Hey, welcome to my first video on YouTube. And I am using it to say something that I want to say and I think needs to be said. This weekend there's the new Superman movie, and I just want to say that Superman has always been political. He's always been anti-fascist, anti-authoritarianism, anti-corruption, unapologetically pro-worker. He's an immigrant, and he comes from a planet that was destroyed by climate change and science denial. And he's approached these issues from the left. And not just in modern retellings, going all the way back to Action Comics #1 in 1938. And these values, kindness, compassion, justice, they've been reinforced continuously over the years. It's not revisionism. It's the truth behind the cape. So let's get to know our lefty friend Kal-El. Before we go on, my name is Victor, and I am a disabled former community manager in the video games industry, and I'm making videos on YouTube to promote a GoFundMe to help me bridge the gap and make ends meet while I'm looking for a job and waiting for disability approval. If you like this video and you want to help me grow, please hit like and subscribe and keep coming back. I'm going to be making videos as much as possible to keep momentum going and spread the word. And even if you don't like it, go ahead and hit like and subscribe, or dislike and subscribe, and comment, because I love to fight, and I would love to fight you in the comments, or I would like to share the love in the comments. And if it really speaks to you, check out the GoFundMe link in the channel description and also in the pinned comment of this video. It would really help me out. You'd be supporting my healing journey and my content creation vision, dream, call it what you will, but I would really appreciate it. Now, let's go back to talking about Superman. So when director James Gunn, you probably know him from Guardians of the Galaxy, The Suicide Squad, Peacemaker. So when he said that Superman's the story of America and that he's an immigrant, and that the most important part of the story is basic human kindness, a value we've lost, and he's not wrong. A lot of headlines, a lot of pundits, Fox News, The Five, Dean Cain, a bunch of conservative YouTubers came out and said, basically, that Superman had gone woke. Because of course they did. And yeah, James Gunn acknowledges that the story is political. He said it to the Times of London in this quote right here. And when I read the quote, that doesn't sound like he's planning any grand political statement. It sounds like he's writing about what we're all living through. People disagreeing on basic moral beliefs and hoping we can find some way to still find enough common ground to stay connected. He said it's really about the relationship and the way different opinions on basic moral beliefs can tear two people apart. It's not a partisan pitch, that's just storytelling. You need conflict, you need a point of view. And in any good story, characters change, they adapt, they wrestle with what they believe. I would expect nothing less out of Superman in this movie. And so really what Gunn just said is, I wrote a competent screenplay. The take that really stood out to me, naturally, of course it did, was Fox News The Five. Jesse Waters, Greg Gutfeld, Kellyanne Conway, the usual suspects in saying stupid right-wing things. Greg Gutfeld said that it was a bad analogy because what did he say? He said that basically Krypton did send its best. They sent Superman, which, I'm just going to say, honestly, there was never anything in canon to say that Superman was anything better than, well, I guess Man of Steel did do that because he had the genetic codex, but they never did anything with it. It didn't matter. So anyway, but basically Gutfeld, in this, he's equating all immigrant stories with Trump's, original campaign spiel about they're bringing crime, they're bringing drugs, they're rapists, and basically saying, that in this particular case, it doesn't count because he's not Mexican. Which is basically what I think Gutfeld is saying, that immigrants from Krypton and, probably Norway, which Trump loves, and other white spaces. We're already welcoming white South Africans, right? Basically, those guys are fine. So they're not, are they not immigrants? I'm the son of an immigrant. My mom came from Germany. Is she different somehow? She still went through a journey. And that story was interesting, and it's worth telling. Superman's acclamation to Earth, even though he, obviously wasn't sort of culturally assimilated, is still a story. I'm just kind of going off the top of my head, but, think about how many babies people have adopted over the years from foreign countries. They're from someplace else. They come here. They're still immigrants of a sort. That's a story worth telling. I don't know what's wrong with that. And then Dean Cain says, that the story shouldn't be political. And I'm sorry. I think any story about fighting crime and justice has an ideological political angle to it. And in particular, I think that just like Watchmen came out and said it directly. But basically, just like Watchmen, I think we should have a little bit of political discussion when all of a sudden there's an alien sun god making decisions for us about who goes to jail, what problems he addresses, and what problems he doesn't. So Superman's inherently political, and he has been since the very first time. I have a little bit of a history lesson here for you prepared that I just want to kind of talk about and make my case. Again, Superman, from Action Comics #1, the very first appearance has been political. Cutting in real quick before we get started, one more thing I wanted to talk about. Kellyanne Conway, the person who coined our favorite phase, alternative facts, basically her response to the whole thing was to make fun of David Corenswet's last name. I don't know. To me, that just proved James Gunn's entire point. Everything it doesn't matter because he has, according to her, a funny last name. I think his last name's fine. I mean, my last name's Wachter. Nobody knows how to pronounce it. Everybody calls me Watcher, as if I'm, kind of watching you from the shadows like I'm a lurker, like I'm a creeper. So anyway, I just wanted to chime in and say that that was one of the points that I really wanted to make, that Fox News basically responded to James Gunn's statement saying that it's about basic human kindness by showing that basic human kindness is dead on their network. Just like Elon said, empathy is overrated and all of that. And Jesse Waters, basically, any show of kindness, he will find a way to somehow usually make it gay because he's got repressed Freudian things going on in his head. But basically, they prove the point. Human kindness is something they've lost in particular on the right. I'm sorry. I think that the left has some issues too. We do take things a little bit too seriously sometimes and criticize each other maybe a little bit too much. But on the right, basically, it's unkind to basically everything that is not them and their family. So anyway, just want to chime in on that. Now let's start talking about Action Comics #1. The natural place to start is with the creation of Superman by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Two Jewish kids living in Cleveland during the Great Depression. Siegel's parents were immigrants themselves from Lithuania. The original family name was Segalovich. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And they came to America basically to escape rising Semitism in their home country. Jerry's father, he ran a small tailor shop and was killed during a robbery, which basically, that would put a sense of, I want justice in your heart. Joe's family immigrated from Canada to escape crushing poverty. Not that there was much of an escape from poverty in 1930s America. But basically, these weren't rich kids with power fantasies, and that's not where Superman came from. These were traumatized working class kids, sons of immigrants surrounded by fascism abroad and hardship at home. And they had something to say, and they said it through Superman. And so we all know what happens in Action Comics #1. Krypton explodes, Jor-El and Lara send their infant son to Earth in a rocket, the Kents find him, they name him Clark, they raise him as their own. But then he grows up to become Superman, the biggest SJW social justice warrior the Depression era of America had ever seen. And I'm not kidding, I'm not just making that up. Superman goes on to beat up wife beaters. He shames corrupt senators and drags greedy mine owners basically to get a taste of their own medicine. He's basically, like I said, he's pro-worker, he's anti-corruption, and actually even Lois gets a moment to resist a little bit of toxic masculinity. I mean, this issue is woke AF. And Superman doesn't stop there, because why would he? There's no reason for him to stop. He stopped the Klan in the real world, in real life. Activist Stetson Kennedy was using the Adventures of Superman radio show in the 40s. You might have heard the story, but it's worth bringing up because it's another example of super wokeism, basically. But Stetson Kennedy was infiltrating the Klan and sending information to the production team of the Adventures of Superman radio serial, and they were exposing this Klan symbols, their plans, all this, their leadership, their ritual, and basically embarrassing them, making them look bad, and making them redo their plans. So it's not only in comics is he doing stuff, but he's actually having an effect in the real world within 10 years of being created. So again, Superman fighting real life racism, bigotry, and fear. I mean, the Klan, that's nothing to mess with, right? And you can read about this, by the way. I just want to recommend. There is a comic book adaptation called Superman Smashes the Klan by Gene Luen Yang, who is a popular writer, a Chinese-American writer who basically felt close to the story because the target of the Klan's hate was an Asian family. But there's also, you can find it on iTunes, probably other platforms too. There's a American Heroes Channel special that you can watch about the whole thing. And there's also a book. I think it is Superman Smashes the Klan, available on Amazon. So you can read about the story in a lot of different ways. It's really interesting, and it's the real world. It's social justice, it's politics in the real world. It is Superman taking a stand, telling people where he stands, and it is not with the Klan, it is not with the racists, it is not with any form of discrimination. And then next I want to show you a clip, basically the first Superman movie ever, which was not Christopher Reeve, it was George Reeves, in Superman and the Mole Men, in which Superman is basically mitigating the issues between a subterranean race of people who come to Earth. These are superheroes comic books, right? But who basically come to the surface because their domain, their homeland, if you will, is basically being destroyed by drilling, by mining from the surface world. And the surface world, rather than ask these little guys what their problem is, kind of attacks them, makes a example of them. And in, 1948, 1950, in basically around the time when, Jim Crow's in full effect, the civil rights movement has not really taken foot yet. Superman is taking a stand for another race, for basically the most vulnerable.
Now I'm going to give you one last chance to stop acting like Nazi stormtroopers.
Who are you to tell us what to do?
All I'm telling you is that little creature in there has as much right to live as you do. Don't forget, you invaded his world. You sank a pipe 6 miles into the ground. And when he climbed up, you set dogs on him, shot him. Get inside and stay away from the front of the building. Whoever fired that shot came close to killing Miss Lane. Obviously, none of you can be trusted with guns. So I'm going to take them away from you.
He even takes the guns. Baller. And he's not done yet. So that's George Reeves' Superman. Let's check out what Christopher Reeve's Superman had to say.
We're still a young planet. There are galaxies out there. Other civilizations for us to meet, to learn from. What a brilliant future we could have. And there will be peace. There will be peace when the people of the world want it so badly that their governments will have no choice but to give it to them. I just wish you could all see the Earth the way that I see it. Because when you really look at it, it's just one world.
I mean, isn't that just the movie equivalent of a coexist bumper sticker? And it doesn't stop there. There are all kinds of examples. I don't want this video to go on too long. We're already over 10 minutes, and I hope you stuck around this long. But there are other examples. In Action Comics number 900, Superman renounced his American citizenship. And also, that is something I do want to talk about, actually, real quick. I'm going to find one last clip that I want to show you, because there's talk about David Cornsweet basically replaces the standard truth, justice, and the American way with truth, justice, and a better tomorrow, I believe. I think that's what he has to say, which to me is fine. Superman being an immigrant, he's not just an immigrant to America. I think he does tend to identify as an American. He does value the American values, but he's often shown as a citizen of the world. In some comics, he has actually been granted citizenship to every country. I'm not sure how that would have worked in the 50s and 60s, because we really didn't like you think we don't like each other now. Back then, it was bad news. So anyway, couple of things I want to show you. In the Super Friends, which is what I grew up with, they never said truth, justice, and the American way. Let's check this out.
Dedicated to truth, justice, and peace for all mankind.
So it was never truth, justice, and the American way, other than in the radio show and in the Adventures of Superman television series. And that was pretty much invented because it was wartime when the radio serial was going on. We needed everyone to be patriotic, and patriotism sold, so they attached it to Superman. So it rarely, I don't think it ever appeared in the comics for quite a while. Even, there's the famous scene in Superman the movie where Lois Lane makes a little bit of fun of Clark or Superman, she doesn't know he's Clark, makes a little bit of fun of Superman for saying he's fighting for truth, justice, and the American way. She says he's going to end up fighting every politician in Washington, which probably would be the case. But yeah, so Superman, not even really that big on the whole American way kind of thing. And for those on the right, I'm not gonna ignore the fact that we're living through tough times, and I'm gonna make other videos about basically the Gestapo like tactics of ICE and our current immigration policy. And Superman has tried authoritarianism in the past. One of my favorite stories, actually, Superman stories, is Kingdom Come. Came out in the 90s, written by Mark Waid. It's kind of a deconstruction of a lot of 90s comics tropes about how everything went kind of violent and extreme. But Superman does go authoritarianism. He basically builds a gulag, and he locks people up without due process. And it ends up terribly. Basically, half of, not more than half, most of the superhero community ends up dead by the end. And it's basically, so not only is it making a statement on that, but it's also making a statement of there's a good reason why, one, Superman stays out of world affairs, and two, authoritarianism is not for him. So those are just sort of my thoughts. I'm going to wrap this up. I probably have more to say, but we are getting close to, or we may have passed 15 minutes. I can't quite tell. Yeah, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you'll be back. I'm going to make more videos. I'm going to try and make a video, several a week. Maybe I'm going to try and get to every day. There's a lot going on. I am a progressive lefty. I wouldn't quite call myself a leftist, but I would definitely call myself a progressive. I'm very interested in the politics going on right now. There's a lot in my history. I mentioned earlier, I'm the son of an immigrant. I'm also the son of a 20-year Army veteran, so I have a lot of opinions about what's going on in the world right now, and I need to share them because we're living in dark times, and all we have are our voices, and we need to get them out there. And also, not for nothing, I mentioned it earlier, I am also doing these to support a GoFundMe. I am currently unemployed and waiting on approval for a disability, and my savings are nearly out, so I have a GoFundMe campaign, which if you want to support me, if you want to see me keep doing content like this, I would really appreciate if you would check it out. If we can get sort of a viral load on this, wouldn't take a lot to get me through. I applied over a year ago. I just had my first interview last month, and they tell me it's going to take another 4 to 5 months. And my savings are just about gone. So this is kind of a lifeline I'm doing. This is a little bit, I'll be honest, these videos are a little bit of a Hail Mary for me. But if you want to check it out, it is in the link description. I really appreciate sticking around. I hope we get going over time. I'll tell you a little more of my story. Like I said, I'm a 20-year veteran of the video games industry. I have a lot of perspective on that kind of thing. But right now, I want to talk about progressivism and the world we live in and what we can do to fight back, to resist. And I hope that Superman inspired you to do so. I hope you go see the movie. I hope you enjoy it. I haven't seen it yet. I am dirt poor. I'm going to go on $5 Friday or $5 Tuesday, at my local cinema. But in the meantime, thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon. See you.